big drink out of the way. Getting coffee at 5 p.m. now.
Man, don't start.
Why?
Because you're going to mess up your sleep.
Yeah, I know.
I had a energy drink yesterday on the way to my in-laws at like 2 o'clock. Went to sleep fine.
Hmm.
But I've got I wear a watch that tracks my sleep.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning and it was like, you slept for 8 hours, but you didn't deep sleep was like 20 minutes.
Yeah, you didn't get a good deep sleep. Yeah. I got a Whoop. I've had to, which I subscribe to them, but um, it, well, one, I'm canceling the subscription, not because of Whoop, but because I'm just trying to save money.
Yeah.
But it does. Like, if it tells me I'm in the green, I can tell I'm in the green. If it says I'm in the yellow, especially the red,
You can tell.
I can definitely tell. But yeah, I know this is a re-record, and honestly, dude, I'm good with just winging it. But I'd like to at least cover. Let's go back to probably let's go back to like Little League when you first started playing football.
Okay.
Yeah, and just kind of talk to me like, how old were you when you first started playing football? And then we'll just and we'll go from there. Kind of your first team.
Okay.
What you remember?
First year playing football was 1999, I believe.
We're old, man.
I know we're old. We're very old. It's funny. I played 3 years of Little League, played for the same coach, but we had a different name all 3 years.
Okay.
Played for Scotty Turner for 3 years. I think we was the Wildcats one year. We was the something else one year, but the last year we were the Bears.
Okay.
The Tompkinsville
T-ville Bears.
The black and gold.
Yeah.
And my dad helped coach. I think he was a little proud of the colors. But yeah, I've loved it. I can remember going to get the Little League application from the office. That's how excited I was to play.
Where'd you go to elementary school?
Tompkinsville Elementary.
See, I don't remember. I mean, you were a year above me, but do you remember me in elementary school at all?
I don't remember. I remember my classmates from elementary. Like I remember
I guess that's true.
of who was in my classes, but we just didn't mix and mingle much. It don't seem like.
Yeah.
Which is probably good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the age difference between years is so much greater.
At that age,
the maturity levels are different each year.
Yeah.
Greater differences in elementary school as they are when you're high school.
Yeah. So you was 99. So you were what, 9 years old, 8 years old?
3rd grade. Yeah.
Yeah. And
9 years old. Yeah.
And so you played for the same team, different names, but same team.
Yeah.
3 years in a row.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
we were runner up every year too.
Okay.
We lost to, there were 4 teams. Each year we lost to a different team in the finals and the championship. Yeah.
But I mean, that means you're consistent.
We were consistently good, but I like to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to win. But yeah, we had a good Little League team.
And did that get you through 6th grade?
6th grade.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then you went on to 7th grade and started playing.
Mm-hmm.
Who was was it Elrod?
Mike Gill.
Mike Gill, Coach Gill. Did Elrod ever take over?
Mm-mm. No. He was an assistant both years I was there.
Oh, okay.
Randy Murphy was an assistant. My father, he made the jump from Little League to middle school when I did, and was an assistant there too.
Okay.
If I'm forgetting some assistants, I don't mean to, but those are the ones that stick out.
Yeah. So what was it like? What was the difference between? Because I didn't play Little League and I didn't play middle school. I only played in high school. So what was the difference like between middle school and elementary?
Little League, I think they do it different now, thankfully. But you had
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I meant to say Little League and middle school, the differences.
The biggest difference was in middle school, we had a 7th grade team and an 8th grade team. And we would scrimmage a little bit, to get some competitive reps. In Little League, back then you had 4 teams and each team had enough to have a full scrimmage. But your 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders were all mixed on one team.
Okay.
That that's to me, that is too much of the difference between a 3rd grader and a 5th grader
Sure.
is too much.
Yeah.
I don't I don't think they do it that way now. I think they might do 2nd and 3rd as a team and then, like, 4th and 5th as a team, which is better. But that was the biggest difference is, it was tough fighting for playing time as a 3rd grader,
I
and
would imagine.
and, um,
Do you think that was because of, like, low numbers? Like
probably. I think they like for every team to have enough to scrimmage every day, and then in middle school, obviously, we had enough to both teams could scrimmage their age group or we could scrimmage 7th versus 8th.
yeah. So when you were in Little League, though, like, when you were in 3rd grade, like, did you find yourself actually getting playing time over any 5th graders?
Yeah, some, it wasn't I said that wrong. We may have to restart this.
Why?
'Cause 3rd and 4th was on a team. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, there was 4 ages.
Yeah.
I was saying 3rd through 5th. I think I was just saying 3 years. But anyway,
Oh, we don't have to restart. We're clarifying.
that's been a day or 2.
Yeah, dude,
That's
it's
been a
fine.
that's been a day or
It's
2.
not yeah.
But yeah, I just remember the age gap being so much, different. That the gap was just so big. But yeah, I found myself into some playing time. Obviously, I didn't start.
Yeah.
Got in some I was a running back and a nose guard.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, first real injury, Billy Joe Murphy. I think I've talked about this before, but I walk up, I'm the youngest guy on the field, and I look up, and he's the starting center for the Tigers at Gamaya.
Was he always big too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a man child all through school. And I was like, I'm not beating this guy. I'm just going to crawl between his legs.
Yeah.
So I get down in my 4-point stance. He snaps the ball. I drive it out through his leg. He just falls on me.
Oh man.
Dislocates my elbow.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that is brutal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shed some tears that day.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
I thought it was broke. I kept saying I broke my arm.
Yeah.
And my dad, just being my dad, he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I'm hurt.
Something's wrong.
Something is wrong."
Yeah.
Um,
Could you look at it and see, like,
oh yeah, I mean it was dislocated.
was it canted or whatever? Like,
It
yeah.
looked like
man.
it looked like it had a big hematoma.
Yeah.
To my dad's defense, it looked like I just had like a really big pop knot,
Okay.
and it was not just a pop knot.
Yeah.
It was disfigured.
Do you remember getting it set?
Yeah, they had to put me to sleep.
Did they?
Yeah, they had to put me to sleep.
Is that your right elbow?
Left.
Left? Okay.
But yeah, they had to put me to sleep, popped it back in, and that ended it that year.
Dude.
No more football that year.
Golly.
My mom, she was like, "This is my chance to get him," like, because she didn't grow up around football. Her brother didn't play. My dad obviously loved it.
Mhm.
I loved it. And she's like, "No, you don't have to play if you don't want." I was like, "No, I'm playing next year.
Oh man.
I'm playing next year."
You
Like,
think it broke her heart or what?
no, I think she realized then, like, okay, like this is going to be his thing.
Yeah.
But then you get to middle school and it's just 7th and 8th graders and the spread's not so big, and football got funner for me the longer I played.
Okay. Why do you think that was?
I invested my time and to be a better player. I feel like I'd done the extra things I needed to be better, and I always found joy in that.
Mhm.
I always found joy in the work, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. The work associated with football. Not a lot of kids do.
Right.
Um,
It's not an easy
no,
sport.
it's not. It's not, and it's not for everybody. And if it's not for you, that doesn't shed bad light on you. But
Yeah.
it's to your point, that's the simplest way to put it. It's not for everybody,
Mhm.
but if it's for you, you will be a better person because of it.
Yeah. So what position did you play in middle school?
Fullback and linebacker.
Fullback and linebacker.
Yep.
Now, high school, you were just linebacker, right? Or did you ever run fullback some?
I played some fullback. I actually started fullback as a senior.
Did you really? See,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I do not remember that. I remember you being
Very
linebacker.
short stint. I started for 2 or 3 games. course, I had my shoulder issue going on at the time, and it was coming in and out of place.
Mhm.
And and I will say this, I think this was the coaching move by Pettit that really kicked our team off and going in a super direction. Like, it gave us a chance to do things that we probably wouldn't have been able to do if I had continued to start fullback.
Mhm.
I'll never forget it. He called me into the office, and I was starting two ways and fullback and linebacker, and he said, "Would you be all right if I started Caleb Maxey at fullback?" And I'm a 18-year-old kid, and I'm just looking at him. I'm like, "Coach, like, why are you asking me? Like, you're like you are the coach."
Right.
Obviously, major respect for him for giving me that decency. And I was like, "Coach," I was like, "I don't care who you play. I don't care where you play me. I just want to win. I just
Mhm.
want to win ball games." He said, "Well, think about it." He said, "We've got Tanner Kendall at running back, Neil Wilson at wide receiver, Garrett Lyons and Joseph Eaton rotating in and out at tight end."
Mhm.
He said, "Your speed versus Caleb's speed." I was like, "It's nowhere near the same."
Sure.
Caleb returned kicks in college. He was like one
Yeah.
of the at Lindsey Wilson. I
Yeah.
remember seeing him.
I don't think I realized that he went on to play.
He played a year at Lindsey, yes,
Okay.
and he was one of the one of the deeper backs on kickoff, and
Yeah.
he played fullback for us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that give us that many athletes on the field that could take a ball
Sure.
to the house at any given time. I was not going to do that. So it just give us a better weapon on the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, I started fullback for a couple of games, and then Caleb took it and led us in touchdowns, I believe, that year. So great coaching move that really helped us do the things we needed to do.
Yeah, I don't think I ever knew because I don't. I mean, it couldn't have been very long because it never registered in my brain that that was a position that you had played as fullback. I just remember linebacker. Explain to me, um, well, one before we really stick to high school, is there anything um, notable or remarkable about your time playing middle school football?
I would say the most notable is we never lost a game.
Okay,
We never lost a
yeah,
game playing as a group. In seventh grade, we were like 8-0, and as eighth graders, we were 10-0.
yeah,
And we played the Bowling Greens, the Moss Middles, the
hmm
Drake's Creek, which is your Greenwood. Moss feeds Warren Central. We
hmm
played the Allens, the Barons. In eighth grade, I think we played some private school out of Lebanon. Um, Beat them and
Tennessee or it's
Tennessee. Yeah,
yeah.
Lebanon.
So to say, I didn't think Kentucky happened. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah. We had a lot of success. That's where I played. I started fullback and linebacker then, and I didn't carry the ball very much at all. I just blocked for Sheldon Hamilton, left and right, Sheldon left,
Yeah,
and I loved it. I loved blocking for Sheldon. Um, Sheldon was was special.
yeah,
He was very special. Um, he could take it to the house anytime. He was a threat to score anytime he touched the pigskin.
yeah.
Uh, so it was a special group of guys. We loved each other, and we didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cared if it was Sheldon scoring, if it was Caleb Maxey scoring, if it was Justin Harlan scoring. Like, nobody
Nobody
cared.
cared.
We just wanted to win.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a good mentality to have, especially at that age too. I
Yeah,
mean, you could have had a bunch of individuals
yeah,
out there.
and which we didn't. I can't say. Honestly, can't say that we had. If there was, I don't remember it, and I think I would remember something like that. But
And you said your dad coached at that age too, right?
he did, yeah,
Did he in little league at all?
he did. We had
Okay,
we had a lot of
so he
dads.
followed you pretty
He,
much through middle school.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. I don't know if that was good or bad. I like to think it was good because we had success. At the end of the day, that's what matters, is having success. I don't feel like he treated me any different than if he did. He was harder on me.
Well, if you dislocate an elbow and think it's a pop knot, I don't think he's
He's not.
he's not treating you easy.
No, he's not cutting me any slack. And if he's going to ask one kid to do something, he's asked me to do it 10 times.
Sure.
But that was just him, and I think that was his way. I think everybody on the team respected him. I think they knew that, obviously, that he was my dad, but it wasn't like, "Oh, that's McKale's dad. He's just here because McKale." I think it was like, "No, that's Coach High."
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
no. and I think he liked it. He loves the game.
Yeah,
He loves the game. But yeah, that was probably my most memorable memories was just winning ball games, man.
yeah,
Playing with your teammates.
yeah. That's wild. I'd say I never. I regret if there. I do regret not playing. I was just man. I was just scared to death. I don't know. It took me till I got to high school and then I remember my first. I remember one of my first introductions was, Coach Pettit coming and talking to us about joining, doing weightlifting after school in 8th grade and stuff like that. And I just out of habit called him John and he ripped me a new one
Yep.
in the middle school hallway, dude. Like
Yep.
terrified. And from that point on, like I was just like, oh my gosh. But stuck through it. I still remember the very first weightlift I don't. I can't remember the details, but I just remember how sore I felt
Yeah.
the next day after that first day of weightlifting, and I couldn't even walk down because mom and dad had been in the process of finishing the basement at the time,
Yeah.
and and I remember I was like, that's where I stayed, and I was trying to walk down the basement steps, and I couldn't do it. It hurt
Like a
so
baby
bad.
giraffe.
Yeah, dude, it was so bad. Just yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's nothing like that first weightlifting session soreness.
Yeah,
And
man.
if it makes you feel any better, I had that same thing, and I had it again when I got to college.
That's
Like, I thought I knew what lifting weights was
yeah,
until I got to college. I was like, "Oh, this is how you really
yeah.
really lift weight." Nothing against our high school program, but it's just
Oh,
it's
yeah.
different.
Yeah, oh, yeah, well, I mean, I had that kind of in the military too, which in the military, you go to basic training or boot camp, whichever, branch you go to and whatever you call it, but, you do PT. You don't really do at least when I went through, there wasn't any weights or anything. Like, if you were blessed, your drill sergeant would provide like dumbbells and kettlebells for you to use in the platoon bay, but for actual PT, it was always like running, uh, push ups, sit ups, obstacles, some pull ups, whatever. It was all body weight type stuff.
Yeah.
But even doing that, they had that down to a science, and
Yeah.
that I went in like you remember how much weight I lost to
Yeah.
just to enlist, and I went in and I was still wrecked. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it was brutal. And then I got into, and I shouldn't be ashamed to say it because I was deep into it for a while, but I got into CrossFit for a really long
Yeah.
time. And, but honestly, getting into that definitely put me like, it's like it took where I was at and then it helped me kind of break whatever plateau I was in, but I was following like a really good program at the time.
There's levels.
There's levels.
There's levels.
There's levels, and high school's a level.
Yeah.
But, sorry to get off on that tangent,
No, I
but
like it.
but yeah, I remember we went to that first practice. I was sitting. Did they have what year did the wellness center get built?
Yeah, I don't think it was built until after I graduated.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't there. I don't remember it ever being there when I
When you
practiced
practiced
in
there?
between the two
Bec
schools.
because I remember, we were lined up, and I would have had my back towards where the wellness center is,
Mhm.
just about to have a panic attack that first football practice. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I was so scared, yeah, I got through it. So, but you would have been a sophomore at that time. So, talk me through what you remember about freshman year.
My freshman year, let's see, that would have been 2005, the football season of 2005. Seniors on that team were Cody Compton, Josh Smith. I'm not going to try not to name them
Yeah.
all. Clifton Hamilton, um, good, good Logan Williams, Landon Williams, good leadership group of guys. Ryan Hammer,
Hmm.
uh, just a good leadership group of guys that they wanted to win just like everybody else. We finished the year 7-3, respectable year. Had a good what I would say was a good year. First round of the playoffs. I didn't see much playing time. I played Oh, yeah. I played average amount for a freshman, I guess, or probably maybe above average. I played pretty much majority special teams,
Mhm,
played some defensive reps, had a pretty good several, good games defensively as a freshman, which I was proud of. Grew as a football player. I gained some respect from the older guys that year, I think. And first playoff game, you talk about nervous because I was like, man, this is for real. We're hosting a first round playoff game.
yeah,
I've never done this. I've never felt this. We, I think it was 20, the final score was 22-21. We went to overtime. They scored, kick an extra point, make it 21-14. Yeah, 21-14. We lost 21-20, I think. Something we lost by 1.
yeah.
They score, kick an extra point. It's our turn. We score. Coach Pettit calls go for 2. We're going for the win. Cody Compton up the middle gets stopped inches short.
Mhm,
And I just remember them storming the field and just feeling like you just popped the balloon.
mhm,
Like just that lost feeling.
mhm,
Um, and that's when I realized um, how much this game meant to guys from here. Because I can remember Logan Williams not wanting to take his uniform off. Like, I don't want to take it off. They were crying. They were like, we've done this since we was in 3rd grade, and that was it for the majority of them. Like, that was the last time that they ever put on a helmet. And that I won't ever forget that because it was like I need to make the most of this
mhm.
because I've just got 3 more years of this before I'm probably done. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to go on, but um, the weight of the game became real
Mhm.
that year for me. That's what I remember most was like, this is for real. It's not going to happen again, and I need to make the most of it.
Yeah. And then what was it like going from that
Hmm.
to your junior year?
My junior year or my sophomore year?
Oh, excuse me, your sophomore year.
Sophomore year. Okay.
I'm blending timelines here. Your
It's
sophomore year.
my sophomore year. I go from being that freshman that rotates in, that plays special teams, to being that sophomore that starts and is looked at as a defensive leader type role. I grew probably more as a football player that year than any other year.
Mhm,
I can remember the seniors that year. That was Billy Joe's senior year.
mhm,
Seth Graves, Kel Tarter, Joseph Walden, Barrett Pruitt, Chase Kentville. I got to be really close with those guys. Instead of playing 1 year with them, I played 2,
right.
and they always treated me really good. And we started out rough. Um, started out like 0-3, losing to teams that we had no business losing to.
Right.
Um, and I just remember one day after practice, Coach Pettit called me, Joseph Eaton, who was another sophomore that started, Billy Joe, and Chase Kendall off to the side. And I can tell you where we was standing at on the practice field. He said, and this was after the 0-3 start. He's like, I'm sick and tired. And he's looking at me and Joseph. He's like, I'm sick and tired of people telling me how young you all are.
Mhm,
He's like, that don't matter. He's like, you are a starter on this football team. You need to play like it.
mhm,
I'm tired of hearing the excuse that you don't even have a driver's license. So like, that don't matter. You are a starter on this team. You are expected to execute.
mhm,
Then he looked at Billy Joe and Chase and he said, and I'm tired of you guys underachieving.
mhm,
We have way too much talent on this team to be 0-3. And he was right.
mhm.
After that, we reeled off 7 wins in a row.
Yeah,
That conversation probably didn't have everything to do with 7 wins in a row, but it definitely changed my mentality.
yeah,
Um, we had a lot of talent on that team, man.
yeah.
I think the Edmonson County game that year, I think, is still the school record for most rushing yards in a game. Seth Graves had like 400 and something yards rushing. The team had like 500 and something yards rushing.
Mhm,
Um, I think I'm telling that right.
mhm,
but which is still a state record, up the not number one, but it's in the record books
Sure.
still. I'm pretty sure. Um, we play Glasgow the last game of the year. We hold them to less than 100 yards total. Kick return, punt return, rushing, passing. We held them less to 100 yards
Yeah.
altogether. Like we stopped them, beat them in a mud bowl, like 21-0 or something.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we turn around and we play them again in the first round of the playoffs. And when I say anything that could have went wrong, went wrong. They scored on a hit, two trick plays, a botched punt, like
Right.
any odd way you could score, they scored, and they beat us a couple of points.
Yeah.
And that hurt tremendously because a lot of good football players, a lot of good football players went home early. We were favored to meet Owensboro. We beat Owensboro Catholic that year.
I remember that.
In the regular season.
Did Garrett take a hit that year?
Yeah, done something to his neck during the Owensboro Catholic game.
Yeah.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Like couldn't move type injury.
Yeah.
But we beat them. That was first time we beat them and maybe ever. I think we might have beat them a couple of times before, but it'd been a long time. So we beat them to win the district, and we play Glasgow, who was a 4 seed in our district in the first round, and they upset us, and we go home. And instead of playing Owensboro Catholic for a regional championship, we're at home on the couch.
Yeah, man.
Which was a very sobering moment.
Yeah.
Back to that, the weight of this game, you need to make the most of it. I thought I was doing what I needed to win.
Sure.
And obviously I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, you can't carry that whole on your back though. But I get where you're coming from.
Right.
And so talking about, I mean,
one thing I want to say about that year too is, not tooting my own horn, but for any young kid that might be listening to this, the value of reps and the value of wanting to play. I did not start offense that year. I don't think I played an offensive snap that year, varsity. And and I knew that, and I knew I was not going to. When you run for 500 yards a game, why would you play somebody different if it's working that well? On Tuesday was defensive day. I played all the defensive reps. On Wednesday, which was offensive day, I played also all of the scout team defensive reps.
Okay.
So I started and played all the defensive reps on Tuesday, and then flip it over. And on Wednesday, I was playing against our starting offense as the scout team linebacker.
Yeah.
Back to growing as a football player. That don't be ashamed to play scout team, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and looking back, because like I've had my own journey. I think you had your journey, and like you showed tremendous growth then. I didn't show growth until later in life. I've got off track, but going back to like the reps and stuff like that, like I think my issue was I believed that the reps didn't matter. Like I didn't believe that I would actually get better under reps. Like I didn't learn that until later in life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You've got to put in the time.
You got to put in the time, but you also have to believe that, and nobody can really instill it in you. You kind of have to learn it from experience that the reps matter. But I just didn't believe at the time that if I actually applied myself, it would actually pay off. Right. Because I hadn't experienced that to my own detriment until later in life, Yeah. And one thing that this is, nowhere near what you're describing, but like I just took my clinical exam for social work to get my full license to be a licensed clinical social worker. and
Did you pass?
oh yeah, I passed.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I
I had to
passed.
ask.
I passed.
Congratulations.
But like, it's not an easy test because it's not just based off trivia knowledge. It's
Mhm.
not just knowing the right answer. It will present situations, and you have to give the best option in
Mhm.
this scenario. But what I did was I just took like loads of practice tests with practice questions.
You repped
I
it.
learned how to take the test. Not that I don't know what I need to know because I do, but it's the test isn't just about knowing what you know, it's about knowing what to do with what you know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And so, like, I learned how to take the test, and then I went and took the test and I passed,
Yeah.
and all I did was take practice questions. So it's like, if you want reps or if you want to get good at something and get better, just doing reps, you will naturally get better. Your brain knows how to learn.
Yeah.
So,
And you just, it's about stacking those. Like, I'm sure that preparing for that test, you had to stack days on top of days on top of days. And sports is no different. It's actually one of the better tools to learn how to do that.
yeah.
How you stretch at practice matters, because if you stretch well, then okay, you go into individuals. Then you do your individual drills. Those drills matter.
Yes.
You treat them seriously. You get the most out of them. Okay, then you go into your group drills, where you add more people. Those drills matter. You treat them seriously. And then you go into team, the full live scrimmage at the end of practice. So if you've stretched right, you've warmed up right, you've done all your drills right,
Yeah.
you put it all together at the end of practice, and if you did the right things, you should be a better player by the end of practice compared to the player that walked on the field at the beginning.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
Not to be cliche, but I mean that's a real thing.
It is.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing, and I think too, um, another thing I noticed, and I'm just going to talk because I'm learning to, what would you say? I don't like the word be vulnerable is not the right word, but being honest about who I am as a person. And I think back then I didn't really, I hate to say this, but I didn't care about getting better because I didn't think I could. I was just worried about making sure I looked right while I did it. Now, there's some value in that because
Yep.
if you're looking right, you're probably doing it right.
You're doing a piece of it
You're
right.
doing a piece of it right, but it's not about just looking like you're doing the part.
Right.
You know,
You have to actually do it.
you have to actually do the part.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know that now, but I didn't have that then.
Yeah.
So, but uh, so that gets us through
My sophomore
your
year.
sophomore year, and then have a really great junior year for you.
No.
No, I know, I know,
No.
I know.
Yeah, well, it was great. It was a great learning experience. Okay, so we have that. So we've lost in the first. Going back, we've lost in the first round 2 different years in a row. And I tell myself, like, okay, we won district. Now that's the floor. We have to win district again, and then we have to win a playoff game. That's the floor. We have to be better. And man, if it could have went wrong, it went wrong that year.
Oh yeah,
You talk about adversity. It happened. A lot of good football players on that team, and it just that showed me how vulnerable a season is, and how as 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, you're not as tough as you think you are until you experience some real adversity during a season. Once that ship gets out of line, it takes a whole lot to get it back going the right direction. And we just never did do that. We actually redistricted that year. They actually added the first 2 years I was in high school. There was just 4 classes: single A, double, triple, and 4A. That year they added 2 classes: 5A and 6A.
mm-hmm.
So our district went from we had like a 17 district down to 4: us, Metcalfe, Green, and Glasgow. At one point during that year, Metcalfe, Green, and Glasgow were all ranked in like the top 6 in 2A. So our district was tough. We were loaded, but we were the bottom of the barrel of the district teams. And I remember our season had pretty much went off the rails. We finished like 2-9 that year. And during our bye week, Greene County and Metcalfe County were playing for what was essentially the district championship. And they played at Greene County.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of us, including my dad, went up to watch it. And I remember sitting in the stands, and when I say that it was packed, it was packed. There were people everywhere. And I just remember sitting there thinking, like, these two teams are experiencing this. They're having the years that they are, and here we are. One win or whatever win, however many wins we had at
Mm-hmm.
the time is. And I just remember thinking, there's no reason, none, on why we can't do this.
Right.
There's none. We've experienced success in the younger years. We know how to win. We know how to overcome adversity when we're just not doing it. And I just remember telling myself, like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not I'm not having that regret that you hear some people have that, you just get a short amount of time to play this sport. Don't throw it away. And that stuck with me the entire off season
Yeah.
after that.
Do you remember, like, I'm sure what you just described is how you felt when the season ended, but, like, do you remember the last game of that season and
Yes.
what was going through your mind? And
Yeah. Couldn't wait to get back and lift weights.
yeah.
Um, we lost to Greene County at Greene County. They was the number 1 seed in the district, and we were the 4 seed, so we traveled to them the opening round. They beat us. They run and clocked us, and I just remember um, seeing Coach Pettit after the game, like, weight room's open on Monday, and he's like, "Oh well, let's calm down." I was like, "No, like, I want this is we're not doing this again. Like, if we can be there,
Mhm.
you can be there." And he's like, you don't have to argue with me. He said, I'll have it open.
Mhm.
And we lifted weights that Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. I I brought up in the past your recruitment of me, and I won't bring it up again, but, but I do remember it, and I know that I knew then at that time, one, I didn't I don't know why I didn't have a choice, but I didn't have a choice.
No, you didn't.
You know,
Yeah, I remember.
like, I didn't have a choice.
And you came and I hope you don't feel like I just singled you out.
You didn't.
And I just, guys that played other sports, 100% behind that. I'm still 100% behind that. Guys that work to support themselves and their family, behind that, still 100% behind it. But if all you did was go home and do nothing, I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Then you were telling me that you were okay with below mediocrity.
Yeah.
We weren't
With what we
mediocre.
just did.
With what we just did, you're telling me that you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And we obviously don't need to have room for that.
Yeah.
And that mindset was just something that I wanted to change. I wanted to spit that taste out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And get something good going, because there's been too many. If you can't tell by the conversation and me going through all that, we had too many good players not to experience more success than we had.
Yeah.
And I was tired of underachieving.
Yeah. And the only thing that you knew to do
Was work.
was go to work.
Was go to work.
Yeah.
If you get tired of it and you just need to go to work and do the reps,
Yeah.
put the time in. Like, yeah, those other guys are still playing. Why can't we practice?
Yeah.
Let's do the hard thing here. And we changed some things. We changed some mindsets. We loved each other, but we were tough on each
Oh,
other,
yeah.
and I don't regret that. Hopefully, I didn't offend too many people, but
You didn't. I don't think you did. I think it was, I don't know if it was a full on culture shock, but I also think that that applies too. I mean, it was just different from that point on. And I remember going to Daryl Carter. When did we start going to the stadium to like run and
went that Wednesday after,
yeah.
because we lifted Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, which give us open day of Wednesday, and we went straight after school for like an hour and run the stadium steps.
Yeah.
Just just wanted to do something above and beyond because what we were doing was not getting it done. So
Yeah.
let's take it a step further and do something a little more.
Yeah.
Um, Now was that real science backed training that we was doing? No.
Well, it wasn't.
We was just
It was mental
it
conditioning.
was mental conditioning. It was cold. It was somewhat embarrassing
Mhm.
uh, to say that, like, look, we're here practicing. The teams that we should be competing with are still playing,
Mhm.
and here we are running stadium steps.
Mhm.
Let's and doing things like that builds camaraderie.
Oh, it does.
It builds a level of camaraderie and a level of discipline that um, just winging it's not ever going to.
Yeah. It's honestly something I miss too, like having that. Not that, and I know God has a sense of humor, and I pray He doesn't show it right now, but because I don't want life to get hard right now,
Yeah,
but I do miss that what I experienced then and in the military of having like just like a brotherhood and like you were going through the suck together,
yep.
you know, like I
That's
miss
exactly what we were
I
doing.
miss that,
Yep.
and
Well, there's something that you gain from that you're not going to get anywhere else.
yeah,
That type of time can either make you or break you,
yeah,
and depending on how you handle it is going to determine whether it makes or breaks.
yeah. And I tell you, if I'd be lying if I said there wasn't part of me at times that wanted to quit. I'm just glad I didn't, you know. And that too was eye opening. Was like you can want to quit and still choose to continue on, and um, which obviously I'm glad I did. And um, I still to this day will I've told John this like I've if it the football program had such a pivotal role in shaping me into the person I am today. Like it was the catalyst for breaking me out of whatever
The restraints you put on yourself.
restraints I put on myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's not the only tool that can do that. There's other school activities, work activities, home activities that you can do that'll take those guardrails off you.
Hmm.
I just so happen to think it's the best one.
I do too.
I think it's the best one. It's you hear it every day of how that sport specifically changes young men's lives.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that you can't get anywhere else.
And I'm not dogging on other sports, but there's actual pain involved.
There's physical
There's
pain,
physical pain involved.
and that's part of being a man is
Yeah.
to learn how to tolerate that. There's the years that I coached, I would tell the players that I was coaching at the time, there's going to be days you don't feel like going to work, but
Hmm.
you got a family and young mouths to feed.
Yep.
Your back may be hurting, your knee, hip, whatever may be hurting, and you're going to have to go to work.
Yep.
It's the same thing here. What are you going to do? You going to go to work? Or you going to take a day off
Yeah.
and your family not eat?
Yeah. And that I'd be lying because we get a personal day at work, and I took my only personal day to take my test. But uh, I would be lying if there weren't days that I woke up. And I have a physically easy job. It's mentally demanding, but it's physically easy.
Mhm.
And there's days that I want to be like, man, I wish I might just take my personal day today. And I don't like doing that. Like I don't
Yeah.
even like that. That's even
Right.
up here.
Yep.
You know.
I understand.
But um, I'm back into I'm running at least 3 days a week now. So,
Nice.
yeah. But I'm not doing for distance. I'm doing for time
Mhm.
just because I don't know. I don't even know why I chose to do it that way. But I'm running for time and I'm increasing by 5 minutes roughly every time.
Nice.
I'm almost to 40. So once I'm at 40, I may stick. I don't know. I think I want to have a personal goal of running a 10K. And so you need about an hour to do that. So
Yeah.
I'll need to go up above that. But
To your point, it's just stacking reps on top of
It
reps,
is.
and whether you use time, distance, whatever. I think it's that mental agreement that you make with yourself. Like, I'm going to run 40 minutes.
Mhm,
I'm going to run 4 miles.
mhm.
You know, if you tell yourself you're going to do that and you don't, well, then you've made a liar out of yourself. You
Yes.
give yourself an out. And once you start doing that, it becomes easier to do it
Yeah,
the next time. Um, that's all that you're doing. That's all that I
yeah,
do the same type mind games with myself.
yeah,
It's like, okay, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run until my heart rate's up to 160, and I'm gonna keep it at 160 for 20 minutes. And
yeah.
um, and I'd be lying if I said there's sometimes I don't do that.
Yeah.
But every single time that I don't, I look back and I'm like, I got weak.
Oh,
I give myself an out.
I have an awful inner critic if I do, and I think it can be unhealthy at times, but I'd rather it be there than nothing be there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it would make it easier. I'm just thankful that it's there to the degree it is because it it's honest enough that I'm uncomfortable to let that happen again the next time,
Right.
you know?
Well, then that tells me that, that you you're holding yourself to a standard,
Yes.
and the fact that you didn't uphold that standard hurts, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because in life, things are going to happen and you are going to fail.
You need standards.
You need standards, and it's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to feel bad. You're supposed to feel like you've let it down.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, then you just don't care.
Yeah.
And like there's no coming back. It's just, well, now I'm settled for whatever I get, I get. And that's, to me, that's no way to live.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but, I think we've done a fairly decent job of art of articulating the transition into your
Yes, sir.
senior season. So, um, just at whatever point in the season you wanna pick up at, you can go the very beginning, wherever, but
Mhm.
walk me through the senior season that you remember.
So we have all those seasons before us, and then we have that off season that it sounds like is pretty infamous now,
Yes.
which I'm proud of. Um, so we come into that year, that fall, and um, I remember at one point we was running wind sprints at the end of practice, like you always do during summer camp. You
Mhm.
empty the tank, and I remember Coach Pettit. Of course, back then you did seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, and the seniors had just finished our last wind sprint, and he was blowing the whistle for the others. And as the freshmen were coming down the field, I just remember him looking left and right, and like, I don't ever remember when we was in this good a shape
Mhm.
starting a year. And it's like I remember thinking like that's all well and good, but it doesn't matter if you don't win. And um, we go into Taylor County the first game, and it's one of those games where nobody knows. Like, everybody knows that we should be a good team, but we've not done anything in the previous seasons to prove that we were going to be a good team. And just having that feeling that I want to set the tone. Like, I want to I want to put fear. I want to have a score after this ball game that puts fear in everybody on our schedule.
Mm. Mhm.
That, okay, that we need to watch them. They're dangerous, and we beat them 49-14 or something.
Okay. Yeah.
They had some good players, and they had what I like to call the loser's limp by the time
Oh, yeah.
yeah, guys wanting to giving in we're talking about, like,
Yes.
well, I don't have to finish this game. We're beat. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
we're just gonna ride
check
it
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we reeled off several good wins in a row, and then we come up to get, the Coach Pettit makes that transition that I'm talking about, and that really just sets us up for a good year. We come into it's the last game before our bye week before we go. I think we go into district play. I think I'm telling that right. Or maybe we played Metcalf and we beat them. They were down that year a little bit. They're always tough, but
Mhm.
they were down a tick from where they was the year before. And we played Greenwood. Greenwood they were 3 times our size in population. They were a 6A school. They were huge,
Mhm.
and they beat us.
Mhm.
That was the first loss of the year,
Mhm.
and it happened right before the bye week.
Yeah.
And looking back, that happened at the best time because we spent the entire bye week. Okay, now we know, like, we can be beat. Like this group specifically, like, we can be beat.
Mhm.
We need to do the right things to right this ship.
Mhm.
And we come back after that week, and I think we played Greene County, which was pretty much for the district championship.
Oh, yeah.
And we played them up there, and uh, I can remember the fog on the field. It looked like I've heard people, even fans in the stands, say it looked like Gettysburg.
Mhm.
It's down in a bowl. The fog had settled down in that bowl, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a slobber knocker.
Oh, yeah.
We got after it, and we beat those guys, and pretty much won the district championship after that, and won the rest of the games the rest of the year, and finished the season 9-1. And
Mhm.
we go into the playoffs, and um, of course, playoffs, it's win or go home. First round, we played Fort Knox, who was not very good, and I think we held them to less than 100 yards total ball movement. Um, Second round, we played Bardstown in a ice bowl. It was
Mhm.
cold,
Very cold.
and I remember them same scenario. They were fast and very fast. And I'll tell this one. We got a pregame speech that game from David Pettit,
Mhm.
John's brother, and one of the best pregame speeches I've ever heard
Mhm.
was that game. And Bardstown had speed everywhere. They were very fast,
Mhm.
and I just remember him saying, all I've heard all week is how fast Bardstown is. They're this, can Monroe keep up? Can Monroe's team keep up with the speed that Bardstown's got on the field? And they've got it everywhere. Monroe County speed is spotty. And he just said, let me tell you something. Speed don't do nothing when it's laying on its back.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
this makes
He's
my hair
he's
stand up talking about it now.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
took it to them. We took
Yeah.
it to them so much that the referees had to go get them out of the locker room at halftime
Yeah.
because it was so cold, and we thumped them so hard that
Yeah.
they were going to sit in that warm locker
I
room.
remember that now, yeah.
Yeah, they had to go get them out.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. They didn't even come warm up. They just walked straight out on
Oh gosh,
the.
dude. Oh, man.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that, dude.
yep. So we beat them pretty good, which sets us up for the first regional championship game at Darrell Carter Stadium since 1989,
Mm,
and we were playing Greene County again.
yeah.
It was a very good team. I think we were like 11-1, and they were like 10-2.
Mm,
We were both ranked in the top 5 in 2A, and the first game we played was like an offensive match. Both teams were able to score. Uh, the second time we played was an even bigger slobber knocker.
yeah.
Um, it was not an offensive game at all. It was actually quite the opposite.
Yeah.
We we were up 12-7. We'd scored twice and missed both extra points. Or maybe we went for 2 and didn't we hadn't scored anything other than 2 6-point touchdowns. And they had scored and hit their extra point, and it was 12-7. They break one like 50, 60 yards and score, and so it's 13-12. They go to kick their extra point, and Garrett Lyons, being 6 foot whatever he was and could jump off the field,
Mhm.
runs and jumps and blocks the extra point.
Mhm.
Okay, so now it's 13-12 still. Okay, some time passes, and we back them up to like their own 20-yard line, and
Mhm.
we force them to punt. And I'll never forget this. We don't have a punt block on. We have a regular punt return on. Jared Rich is our nose tackle. He turns over his shoulder, and I guarantee you he remembers this. He turns over and looks at me. He's like, "I'm going to block it."
Mhm.
Many people may not know that he told me that,
Yeah.
but I guarantee you he remembers. He said, "I'm going for it. I'm
Mhm.
going to block it." I said, "Go." I said, "I'm going to block your guy for you."
Mhm.
He goes. His guy, his guy, thinking somebody else is going to pick him up, leaves, and I'm blocking his guy, and I hear the crowd go nuts.
Yeah.
And then
Dude.
I hear the crowd go nuts, and
Dude.
I'm looking, I'm like, he's blocked it. He's blocked it.
Yeah.
He's blocked it. And I look, and their punter is jumping on the ball in the end zone, and he jumps on the ball for safety. We
Yeah.
win 14-13.
Gosh,
Yep.
dude.
Yep. Probably the most famous play in Monroe County football
Man.
history. Another funny part about that game is, of course, with the safety, they kick it to us. I can't remember if we run quite a bit of time off the clock, and we eventually have to punt to them. So they get the ball again, and for a
Mhm.
chance to score and beat us. And they drive down the field a little bit, and we get them in a 3rd and long situation, and they didn't have they were like us. They didn't have very sophisticated pass plays. They were a gritty team just like we were. And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was a 3rd and long situation, and they dropped back to pass. And I remember seeing Joseph Eaton run off the edge, and he was about to go sack the quarterback, which he was not on a blitz. He
Mhm.
just went with his football instinct and blitzed off the edge.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him jump and stick his arms up in the air as the quarterback was throwing it,
Mhm.
and he tips the ball.
Sure. Yeah.
So this ball was going end over end in the air, and I'm running, and I'm like, I'm going to intercept this and
Yes.
seal the deal. Like
Yes.
I'm going to be
The hero.
the hero.
Yeah.
And as I dive to catch this, I see a set of hands come through and
Mhm.
catch the ball,
Yeah.
and I hear the crowd go nuts. Of course, both teams had a good fan base, and I'm like, one of their guys has just caught this ball and is going to take it and score. So I jump up and I look toward their end zone, and I'm looking, and I don't see nobody.
Mhm.
I turn around and look the other way, and Neil Wilson's got the ball
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, that was Neil's hands.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How big of a was it? Relief, excitement? What'd you feel when you saw that?
I was like, we just won the regional championship.
Yeah.
We just won the regional championship. And he had the wherewithal. He could have scored.
Yeah.
He could have
You think
scored.
you could have?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, because their quarterback, which was one of their better athletes, actually caught him at about like the 5-yard line. And Neil had him he had the ball in one hand, he was holding him off with the other. And I know Neil, and you know Neil.
I do.
He had enough muscle about him. He
Mhm.
could have scored, but he steps out.
Yeah.
He steps out, and we need the ball out on like the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when I seen number 11 running down the sideline with the ball, I was like, we just won the regional championship.
And that picture, I just think that I just think back to you all coming off the field and everybody taking their helmets off and just I don't know, there was something about that win that just felt like, I mean, we might as well have won the Super Bowl. It was
We broke a wall.
yeah.
We tore a wall down that had been up for almost 20 years. Way too long for the amount of talent that we had come through there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, yeah, we're the team that gets that recognition. But back to what I was saying, I keep referring to all this talent that was there, and
Mhm.
like, not to be cliche, but they really did fuel. That win was for more than just that team.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I felt that, and I'm sure everybody did, when the crowd come on the field after the trophy presentation, it's like, this was a community win.
Absolutely.
This was a community win. Everybody gets to feel this good now.
Yes.
Which led us to playing the Tennessee Titans practice squad.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But
that was
yeah, that was a game that it'll be hard to top for a
Yeah.
while.
And then was Antonio Andrews playing that
That was his
it
junior
was
year.
his junior year, yeah.
He didn't get Mr. Football that year because Mr. Football just goes to a senior. If
Mhm.
that was not a rule, he would have been a 2-time Mr. Football.
Yeah.
He was He was as good as the lore.
Yeah,
I don't even think he had a bum ankle against us and still done pretty much whatever he wanted.
yeah.
I'll stand by this statement though. He was not their best player.
Okay,
Their best player was a guy by the name of Josh Carter.
okay,
Josh Carter had like 20 something tackles against us.
okay.
The word, and I'm pretty sure this is true. If not, then accept my apologies, but I'm pretty sure his father may have passed away overseas the week before they played us.
That does sound it does
Sound
sound
right?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's right. And I'm pretty sure we were up on them at halftime. And when he come out the second half, um, I played against several guys in college, and they weren't as good as the way he played the second half.
yeah,
He was out of this world. There was nothing we could do to stop him.
yeah,
Unstoppable. Didn't matter who we tried to block him with, how many people we tried to block him with.
yeah.
Didn't matter. Um,
Well, you can't I mean, just as a human, can't be mad about it.
no, no, they were very good. They talked. They had a couple guys talk some trash at the beginning of the game, but when the game was over, those same guys, they come and shook every one of our hands. Even after the handshake line, they come down like y'all are for real.
Yeah,
Y'all don't hang y'all's heads.
mhm,
Y'all are a good football team, and I'll never forget that because I'd never seen a team do that
yeah.
before. They were classy.
That's awesome,
They were
man.
classy. Um, I feel like if we'd won that game, we'd won the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
Probably both years.
yeah, very true. The next year, the same way.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was a. I think we were the only team ever to play in December.
mhm.
We played them on December the
Dude, those were
5th.
some of the coldest.
The Fort Campbell game was very cold.
Yeah.
Do you remember the ice on the front of everybody's jerseys
Yes.
freezing?
Yeah.
Um, that game was broadcast in Afghanistan, I believe.
Really.
Yeah. Do you remember the antenna tower in the back of the end zone?
I I don't, but I believe you that it was there.
It was.
I have very spotty memory,
Yeah.
so
Yep. I'm pretty certain it was.
yeah. I don't doubt that it was. It sounds like exactly like something they would do. So
Yep. And they had the big warming tent. It was the wind chill was single digits at night.
mhm.
It was cold, cold, cold. And then we had like two little space heaters on the sideline that we
Mhm.
would go and warm our hands up, but they had like a room with heaters in it that they could go in and
Yeah.
fully thaw out.
Yeah.
Just the difference in teams.
Yeah. And funding.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they went on a tear for several years.
Yeah.
They were good. They were everything they were chalked up to be.
Yeah. Well, that gets us your uh through your senior year, Uh I'll just say I really appreciate what you did, but who are some of your who do you feel like are some pivotal people that were kind of backing you up in that space between your junior and senior year that were on your side or did you feel like you were doing it all by yourself?
No, I never felt like I was doing it all by myself. I never felt that way. I think I've kind of become the default spokesperson, I guess, for that year. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing,
It's a
but
good thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But no, I never felt I may have been the one um, stoking the fire, but I wasn't the only one burning wood.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like that everybody, by the time the season started, if you were on the team, you were on the team. Like you were, if you were wearing the helmet, then
Sure.
you were doing your part, whether it was the scout team running back or the starting quarterback.
Mm.
So no, and it was really just the guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
Like I'd seen that face 3 years in a row, guys losing their last game and that look on their face.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to see that on guys that I'd played with since 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And I knew it would probably eventually come. Whether at a banquet looking at a state championship trophy, that same look would probably be there. But I wanted to delay that as long as possible.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, my dad and my mom and my brother always backed me.
Mhm.
They could see that it meant a lot to me, and
Mhm.
they always supported that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was,
Now did
pretty much the guys in you hear Coach Pettit all the time, the only people's that opinion matters are the ones that's between these 4 walls right now,
mhm.
and that's real.
Yeah. Did did Trevor play
Mhm.
was he like, with you? Like, okay.
When I gr
Was he a freshman when I was a senior then?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yep,
Yeah.
yep. He come in. We never played together. I always think it would've been cool if we got to, but we never did.
Yeah. Yeah. And, he's working at Cleary's now, ain't he?
Yep, he's
Yeah.
a safety officer at Cleary's.
Alright, fair enough. What's your will you tell the story that you told last time, but, where you where you clocked me? Because
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And do you not remember that?
I vaguely remember it, like, after you told me about it, but
Yeah.
I do, but it's hazy.
Little hazy.
Yes.
So we're it's at that point where we're scrimmaging, and I didn't start fullback, just like we said. It was that point in the year where I come in on special sets, and I still played. I got to do what I like to do, which was block.
Mhm.
I always like you blocked for Sheldon Hamilton all those years. You fall in love with blocking, and
Sure.
I did. And it was one of those sets where I come in and we let a lineman go free, and I trap blocking as Justin rolls out. And the first time we did it, and I never did truly, some people may have thought it, but I never did truly try to hurt a teammate. Never did. Um, Jordan Turner, Foot Turner, was the nose guard who I was supposed to block. So he comes through free, and I block him. I don't kill him.
Mhm.
I have the angle on him,
Mhm.
but I don't kill him. And he turns and looks at me and goes, "Is that what all the fuss is about?"
Oh,
I was
gosh,
just like,
dude.
and I just remember looking at him. I'm like, "Did he just really say that to me?"
Yeah.
I said, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm serious." He's like, "That was weak." So we go back to the huddle, and Coach Pettit's calling the play. He's like, "All right," and I was like, "We're running the same play." He's like, "No," I was like, "We're running the same play," and he's like, "All right, run it again." In the interim, I did not know this, but Foot checked himself out and you come in. I didn't know this, but I told myself, I'm like, I'm not going to hurt him, but he's going to feel it.
Oh,
And,
gosh.
and I remember leaving my feet and sticking my helmet right in the middle of your
I
chest.
remember leaving my feet too.
And I look down and it's you.
Yeah,
And
dude.
I look down, I'm like, that ain't, and I
Because
look,
everybody was like, "Oh."
like I look down and it's you. And I look over and Foot's got his helmet off, belly laughing. I was like, that was meant for you.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if he heard me say run it again or what,
Oh,
but
man.
you were the
Yeah.
I I'm
I
sorry.
got on that one, dude. No, I had my bell rung plenty, so
I did too.
it's all
You
good.
play long enough,
It's all part of the experience.
play long enough, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So, we can finish up. We won't spend a lot of time on it, but we had talked about the 12 rules for life, and you said you kind of were brushing up on them when you got on
Yeah,
the way here.
yeah. I actually brushed on 'em up on him a little bit after our conversation last time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Jordan Peterson. I like him.
I am too, and I need to get back too. So I've been trying to be just a better Christian. So in my downtime, like if I'm riding anywhere or not doing anything, I'll try to have some kind of Christian music on or even like sermon or something like that. I'm just trying to get my mind right. But I do remember back when I was heavy into Jordan Peterson, like that was when I experienced a lot of personal growth too.
Yeah,
And I want to incorporate I don't want it to take over where I've got going right now, um, but yeah, the 12 rules for life. And, so I'll just ask you if you have a response to this, what, when you were brushing up on them, stood out to you today? Was it a particular rule? Anything that you remember?
with where I'm at in my life right now, I have 2 young children,
Yeah.
and it's no, it's hard. to know that balancing act between overparenting and underparenting,
Mhm,
letting them fail
mhm.
and overcoming failure. And I mean, they're just 3 and 1, so it's not like
Yeah,
I'm gonna let them do something catastrophically, but it's that, don't interrupt is it don't interrupt kids skateboarding?
yeah, I think it's,
Is that right?
yeah, number 11, do not bother children when they are skateboarding.
Yep. The premise of that rule is let kids do dangerous things carefully. It's good for them.
Mhm,
It's good for them to know because life. It's good for them to know how to navigate riskier, dangerous things because life has inherent risk and inherent danger. And if you don't let them test the boundaries of overcoming adversity, then they're never going to learn.
yeah.
Um, just where I'm at in life, that one, all those rules are good. We've talked
Oh,
about
yeah,
it,
they
but
all are.
that one hits a little closer to home than it did the first time I read that book.
I'm sure, I'm sure. I was looking over them earlier and, what was it, number 4, compare yourself with who you were yesterday, not with who someone else is today. And I think, like, I used to have this mindset that I'm never gonna be like this person, like somebody that I looked up to, like they just existed in a completely different like they had a completely different plane of existence and I would never achieve, and it's like, that's the wrong
100%,
mentality to have.
100%.
You just, and it's tough, like, and he talks about it too, like, if you haven't done this and you decide, "Okay, I'm gonna take an honest look at myself," it is not pleasant
No,
at all.
no. That little speech that John Pettit or Coach Pettit give us at to me, Joseph, Chase Kendall,
Mhm.
and Billy Joe, one of the lines he says is the one of the lines he told us was, "You 4 need to go have a long talk with the man in the mirror."
Yeah,
And I literally went home that day and looked in the mirror and had that little self eval, and you feel about this if you do it right, you
yeah,
feel about this tall.
yeah.
Um,
It's not comfortable, man.
no, it's not.
And what else is it he says? If you, uh, he compares it to prayer, but this isn't what prayer is, but I think it's can be just as beneficial, which is if you just sit in a chair on the side of your bed and think, "Okay, what honestly are some really stupid things that I'm doing every day to keep myself from being a better person?" Like, maybe
Mhm.
it's just I'm just choosing to be comfortable, or um, I'm just choosing to engage in some kind of behavior that suits me now, but really it's just holding me back,
Yeah,
you know? And if you honestly do that, man, like that you
it's eye opening.
it's very eye opening,
It's eye opening.
but it is worth it to do that and just even just pick one thing and just be like, okay, I'm going to change this one thing.
Yeah,
And maybe it's one thing about this one thing that I'm going to change, but you are that much better of a person for doing that
right.
than having not done that at all.
Right. Back
Yeah.
to walking on the practice field and leaving a better player
Yes.
because okay, today I'm going to take this drill. I'm going to take it this much more seriously and I'm going to do this much more.
Yeah.
And you do that enough and you'll get rid of that old man in the mirror
Yes.
and there'll be a new man standing there. As cliche as that sounds, that's real.
Yeah, it is very real. Um, but yeah, again, I want to express my thanks for your contribution to the program, which contributed to me, um, and to everybody that was part of that program. I miss everybody. I'm glad to be back. I've seen so many people since I moved back, and it's awesome. But um, you can take that with you if you
Yeah.
want to.
You just said something there. It made me
Yeah.
think of another rule. But I can't think of which rule it is. Which one is it? Surrounding yourself with people that,
Uh, number 3.
yeah, make friends with people who want the best for you.
Yes.
Um, That's a very real thing in life too. You need to surround with yourself with people that is truly in your corner.
Mhm.
Um, in today's world, it's hyper competitive, and sometimes it's hard to find that.
It
But
is.
but those people are out there, and the more you can surround yourself with people like that, the better off you'll be in the long term.
Yeah. I still remember when I was making the decision to move back, I was talking to Neil and,
He's in your corner, by the way.
I
Hope you know that.
I know he is. I know he is. And, because I told him I was moving back and he had told me that he had just talked to, I think Alex Page or somebody like, and they both like wishing I'd moved back and they'd kind of been praying about it they just felt like they needed to pray about it and that they had. And like, I mean, well, I mean, I guess that's a testament of God working and everything, but like it is so refreshing to know what it's like to have people in your corner
Yeah.
that want the best for you.
Yeah.
And are going to hold you accountable.
Right. That tough love part that we was
Yeah.
talking about, they're not going to, the people that want the best for you are not always going to tell you what you want to hear,
No.
but they're going to tell you what you need to hear.
Yes.
Be thankful for those people.
Yes. Yep. But man, I appreciate you coming out, and I think this has been one of the better episodes.
It's been fun.
It's been awesome.
These podcasts have really, I don't talk about high school football a lot. I keep up with it now. I talk about the current football teams, but it has been fun to talk about the old times a little bit. Whether everybody gets as much benefit out of it as we do, I hope they do. I hope that some of the things we done during those years are benefiting players today.
Yeah.
That's the true legacy part, is that if something you done 20 years ago is benefiting a kid now, then you did something right.
I'll tell you another thing that you did all you did was speak it into existence, but it was me doing these podcasts with the political candidates.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You mentioned that, and I was like, I wonder if if that was me.
yeah, it was you. It was you inspired that, and I've received like a lot of good feedback. So anybody that's listening that watch those, you owe McKale appreciation as well. So
Yeah, I remember that. You
yeah,
asked me ideas for guests, and I was like, man, it's election season. I'm
yeah,
sure people would love to hear that. And
yeah,
I've listened to every one of them,
good.
and I've enjoyed every one of them.
Do you feel like they were informative?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Even though this is a small town and most everybody knows those candidates, it's always good to just sit and talk to them for an hour,
Yes.
and hear what they've got to say.
Yeah.
Um, you don't get that form of campaigning here. In
No.
the past, we've never got that, and I enjoyed it. All the guys that's in my group text, they listen to them too. We talked about every episode that you
Good,
had.
dude. That's awesome, guys. I appreciate it. I think I think what I'd like to do though is when the election's over, like whatever office, if they want to come on like once a month and talk about what's going on in their office, what's going on in the
Yeah.
county, I think that would be
I think if you give
a
them the
really good idea.
opportunity to do that, I think that's all you can do is give them the opportunity, and if that's something that they wish to do, then people like me is going to
I
listen.
know there are some people that want to do that, but I won't,
Yeah.
say who, but
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. I think that this is the type of communication that our generation likes.
Mhm.
You've got the older generation that the Tompkinsville newspaper, which I still get and still read,
Mhm.
but that's where they get their information.
Yeah.
But I prefer this.
I do too.
I prefer this. I prefer listening to the long form. It's hard to hide things in long form
It is very
content,
difficult.
which is good, because if your heart's right, and um, then that's going to show.
Mhm.
And that's what people. I think that's what people want.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people were surprised by how some candidates actually did.
Yeah.
Not that this is a performance, but just maybe they hadn't got to hear them or they just didn't anticipate that this person was as articulated as they were,
Yeah.
or as thought out and planned out as
And if it wasn't for this, they would never.
they would
heard
have
it.
never known.
I know that I heard things about certain positions. Like, man, I didn't know that they did that.
Yes.
And so it's refreshing to know that those they do. The job is just not as it appears.
Exactly. Yep. But I appreciate you coming out on Monday. I'm glad we finally. It's been like 2 months or something like that, but we got it
Yeah,
done,
we did.
and it was very good.
We're busy. We're
We
both
are,
busy.
dude. But I'll get you out of here. Did I give you a shirt the last
You
time?
sure did.
Okay, good.
And I meant to bring your gift, but I forgot it.
You don't give me one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah, I do. I was supposed to. I forgot it though.
All
And I'm
right.
going to drop it off sometime. So
All right, man. I appreciate it. But let's get you out of here.
thanks, man.